Well, that's kind of a bummer. After I did my screen capture of the tutorial, I saw that it actually didn't pick up all the frames. And so the lip sync itself, the thing I wanted to show, looks really bad. So what I decided to do is just go ahead and render out a portion where Scarlet Riggs is talking and show what it would look like. I didn't tweak or massage anything. I just generated the frames and then rendered it out.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
I decided to go ahead and post the video anyway, just to show the idea, and I hope you can excuse the horrible lip sync that it looks like in the screen capture. Sorry about that.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Hi, this is just a demonstration of a script that I'm working on for lip sync. I'm still in the process of writing it, but I thought I'd show just to give people a sense of what it is and see if others might be interested. So first we'll look at this character that has the standard mouth positions. And in this particular case, we have the switch layers set to interpolate sublayers. So the first thing that you do with the script is look at your audio.
Merry Christmas.
So for this phrase, we're starting around phrase 5, or frame 5, and we end up around frame 33. So in the dialogue, we set the start frame and the end frame and the text string that we want to lip sync. Now, it can recognize normal spelling, but that can have some errors, so I have something that a checkbox for phonetic spelling. And in that case, if the vowel is long, I capitalize it, but everything else should be lowercase. And we would spell it the way it sounds. I won't go into details of all the letters that you can do, but just showing as an example. Then you just click on OK. And as you can see, the switch layers are put in. Now, the interpolation is whatever you set it up to be. Here I had linear going on, but you could have done step if you wanted. Of course, since this character can interpolate between sublayers, we wouldn't use step. So let's see what it looks like.
Merry Christmas.
Now, a key point here is that the intention for this script is not to get everything absolutely perfect, but to get the basics there, and if you want to, then you can just move the keyframes around. But the point is, it should be putting the proper keyframes in the proper order in about the right position. Now, the interesting thing about this script is you can do lip sync for just about any type of mouth control that you have. So, for example, I'm going to bring up the dragon here that comes with Anime Studio Pro 11, and the bone here that moves the mouth is B70. So my script reads a file. In this case, it says dragon, and it only has one bone, and that bone is B70, and for all of the different phonemes that we're used to dealing with, it gives the angle in degrees that will represent that sound. And so that's completely under the user's control. So again, we look at the audio. So we go from about 54 to about 86, 87. Now this time when we bring up the dialogue, it's smart enough to know that we have a bone layer selected, and so it's going to look for these descriptions that are in there. So the text file actually has descriptions for many different characters, because each of the characters, since they're using bones, will be different. So I just select the one that I have for the dragon, and I've already set up the values, and select OK. So let's see what that one looks like.
I think it's time to go to bed.
So you can scrub through, and you may think you want to adjust it some. So for example, we might just want to move these keyframes down a little bit and see how that does a little bit better.
I think it's time to go to bed.
So now if we want to do the gorilla, it doesn't have a bone that's directly attached to the mouth, but it's using a smart bone dial called Menace, and again we have that captured in the file. And I may say, well, 87 was a little bit too far, so I'm going to try 84 to see how that does. And again, I clicked on OK, but oops, the problem here was I had the wrong file. So let's go ahead and try again. So I selected grill, and so really it should have been the gorilla. And select OK, and there we go.
Go to bed. I think it's time to go to bed.
Now Scarlet Riggs has two bones, open and close and squash and stretch, and so our script can recognize that and it can deal with any number of bones. As long as I've got it defined in the text file, I just select Scarlet as the one that we want to use and click on OK. So let's see what that looks like.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Or we can show one that uses the stretch and squash a little bit more. Though the voice doesn't match the character, let's see what it looks like.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Now I have another setup in which switch layers are controlled by a smartphone. And in this case, what I'd like to do is set the interpolation to step, because the bone will actually pass through several different positions to get to each of the mouth positions. So again, all we do is bring up the dialogue, and this time we select Jace and select OK. Watch as the bone will wiggle, but the mouth will use the step.
Fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
So anyway, that's the script that I have, and still working out a couple of bugs, but in general, I find it pretty helpful for my stuff, and hope you might find it interesting too.